Welcome to the Brent Gove podcast with co-host Eric Lofholm. We are building 1 million agents in 100 countries in 10 years. Now, here's your host, Brent Gove.
Hi, this is Eric Lofholm, and I want to welcome all of you to another great edition of the Brent Gove podcast. And we have back one of our great guests, Phil Stringer's here. He is Mr. AI when it comes to real estate. He's a friend of our podcast. He speaks to real estate audiences all over, and he really knows his stuff. And Phil's spoken for Brent before. He's been on the podcast before. So, Phil, welcome back to the podcast.
Such an honor to be here, Eric. I tell you, I think I said it last time, and I'm going to continue to say it. One of my favorite podcasts. You guys I'm subscribed to you. I download every single time, and I listen to your episodes. So always an honor to be a part of it as well on this side of it.
Fantastic. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about how do you know so much about AI, and then get into some things of, a lot of our agents, they're really at kind of like step number one of AI. Like they're not, deep in it like you or some of your clients that have really been at it. So maybe we can just talk about how do you know what you know, and what are some things that a new agent can do new to AI?
Yeah, for sure. I think, my journey, everyone always asks me, they're like, how did you get started in AI? So what a lot of people don't know is that I have a real estate background, which is why when I started my AI journey, it was specifically for real estate agents. How do we use AI to sell more homes and save more time? Because I quickly saw that there were a lot of AI tools coming out that just confused people because there were so many. You didn't know which ones to use, who's telling me the truth. And you got confused because there was just so much out there that got saturated so quickly. And so my thought was, okay, if I can solve two problems, then I can truly change this industry. And those two problems are, one, real estate agents don't know what to ask AI, like ChatGPT. And two, they don't know how to ask it the right way. And so that was initially my first thing was, I think I can help people learn what to ask it and how to ask it. And that's what I started working on by creating essentially prompt packs where I wrote out the prompts the way that they should be written. And I put them in this large bank of over 500 prompts that I wrote. And I just said, hey, look, are you looking to write a really good blog? Click on this, copy and paste it in, and you're going to get the prompt that works very well. Do you want to create a short form video script? Click on this, copy this prompt, paste it in. And I have over 500 prompts that I ended up writing. And that was in the early stages where I thought, okay, people don't have to think about what's possible. They don't have to think about how to ask it or how to write it. It's just done for you. And so I was actually a chief operating officer of a mega team in North Carolina. Jason Bramlett Real Estate. We had about 30 agents at the time, and the brokerage was doing very well, and we were growing the team. And I remember thinking, man, I can probably help our agents using these AI tools to sell more homes and save more time. Because if it doesn't do one of those two things, then it's just a waste of time. There's a lot of AI tools out there where it's like it takes you down this rabbit trail and you end up wasting time, and it doesn't do any real benefit for moving the needle in your business. And so I really just focused on, okay, how can I help real estate agents use AI in a way that will either sell them more homes or save them more time so they can spend time doing what they want to do, like be with their family or grow their business or whatever it is. And that's kind of how I got started in the whole thing.
Awesome. I love that. And I love your distinction about, how is this going to help us actually do what we're trying to do here, as opposed to going down the rabbit trail, and which is what happens with a lot of technology. So what should somebody, they're like, ChatGPT, I heard of it, I don't even know where to go for it. Like, walk me through, I'm that agent. What should I do to get started?
Yeah, so ChatGPT is a fantastic place to start. So you can go to chat.com, chat.com, or you can even go to chatgpt.com. They own both of those. They both go to the same place. You can create a free account. So there's a free account and there's a paid account. The paid account right now, as the time we're recording, is $20 a month, and it gives you some different functionalities, which I'll get into in a second. But I would recommend, if you're brand new to it, start off with a free account because you can do a lot with that free account. And you set up your free account, and then you have this little section where you type in a question, and think of it like you're talking to an employee that you just hired. Someone who will be able to create content for you. You can bounce ideas, you can ask simple questions, you can generate lists of things. There's really it's an endless amount of things that you can do with this software. And so I always tell people, before you use ChatGPT, it's important to understand how the thing actually works. And 99% of people don't actually understand how it gives a result. But when you understand what's going on behind, underneath the hood, then you can really formulate how you ask it and getting really good results from this thing, because you know exactly what's happening. So I'm going to give it to you in the 60-second version here, and I'm going to talk to you like you're 5 years old, because I like to boil things down very simply. But in a nutshell, this is what happens when you get a response from ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is what's called a large language model. So it's an LLM. If you've seen LLM, or if you've heard large language model, it's referring to this software that is like ChatGPT, that gives you a conversational response back to whatever you type in. So there are different tools that are similar to ChatGPT. There's things like there's Claude, right? There's, Google has a version, Gemini. You have these different tools that all do similar things. And that is, you type something in and you get a conversational response back. So this is so different from what we were used to before, because we would type something in to say Google search, and we get a static list of results back with articles that, if we click into it and we read it, it could or it could not answer our question. And if it doesn't, we go back to the static list, we click another article. Does this one answer our question? Yes or no? This is different now, because it's like we're talking to something. We're not just getting a static list. It's a conversational response. So an example that I always give people is, if you type into Google, who won the Super Bowl in the NFL season 1995, it will come up with articles, and it will say the Dallas Cowboys defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers. If I do that in a large language model, like say ChatGPT, it will tell me the same thing, but here's the difference. If I then type into Google search, who was the quarterback, and I do question mark, enter, it's not going to know what I'm talking about. It's going to say, I don't know, here's the current 32 NFL quarterbacks in the league for quarterback in ChatGPT. It is going to say Troy Aikman was the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys in 1995 when they defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers. Why does it do that? Because ChatGPT and these large language models reference three things when it gives you a response. And I'm going to give you all three. Number one, it references the large amount of data that it's been trained on. These are trillions of data points. It's been loaded with books and articles and magazines and research papers, and scraped the web and internet and Reddit and forums. All of these things have been loaded into its knowledge base. And what it does is it analyzes all of this to understand how the human language is working. So it actually doesn't know any truth. It doesn't know what's true or what's false. It just knows what words come after another based on human literature and human language. What is most probable to come next? This word after this word, and this word after these sets of words. So number one, it references all of this data. Number two, then, it references the prompt that you put in. It's garbage in, garbage out. If you put in a basic prompt, you're going to get a basic result. If you put in a really good detailed, with a lot of explanations, you're probably going to get a much more detailed response for what you're wanting, which is why I ended up writing those 500 prompts very detailed, so that people didn't have to think about how to exactly ask it. They could just copy and paste. So that's number two. And then number three, and probably the most important thing that it references when it gives you a response, is it references the prior chat history of what you've been talking about to give you a response. And so that's why when you just put in who was the quarterback, after you were asking about the 95 Super Bowl, it knows you're talking about that game. So it's able to say Troy Aikman was the quarterback of the Cowboys in 95. during that Super Bowl game. Now, you might say, okay, Phil, why is this important to know as a real estate agent? Well, if ChatGPT is going to reference everything that we've been talking about in the past conversation, then that means I can load that conversation intentionally with specific things and specific data points, say market reports or information about my target audience or information about the type of clients that I'm wanting to help. You load in business information first, and then you create content afterwards. You say, hey, write me a blog about this. Well, if you load it in with all of your market information before, it's going to write you a blog with all of those things, understanding that those things are there. So the reason I bring this up is because ChatGPT actually gives you one word at a time. So it calculates those 3 different variables to spit out one word, and then it recalculates all 3 of those variables to say, what should the second word be based on the first word? And then it recalculates them all again to say, what should the third word be based on the first 2 words? Again, large language models are nothing but a language predictor. It predicts what word should come next. There's 175 billion with a B calculations per word that it spits out for you. So that goes to show you that, Eric, you could copy and paste in a prompt and hit enter, and you're going to get a completely different result than if I copy and paste the same prompt, because there's so many different variables to come into play. But in all of that, to kind of wrap that whole thing up, the most important thing to understand is, if it's going to reference the prior chat history and it knows what we're talking about, the best way to get really good content created for you that's specific to your niche, specific to your target audience, is to load it in with any information you can about your business, your goals, your target audience, your marketing strategy, your price point, everything, and then create content after that so it will use that as a reference point.
Excellent. Now, we've got some agents, I'm sure, listening to this right now, and they're going, okay, ChatGPT, that's fine, but I don't do that. I'm not the technology person. I'm a people person. That's why I'm a real estate agent. I talk to the people. So
Yeah.
speak to that person that's like, this doesn't apply to me, and share with them, like, why should they care about ChatGPT or AI?
Yeah. I say this 100 times, and if you followed me at all, you probably heard me say it. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. AI is not going to replace the real estate agent. A real estate agent using AI will replace the real estate agent. And the reason why I say that is because real estate is such an emotional thing, it's such a relational thing. AI is not going to replace that portion of it, because you should focus on the things that matter, which is the relationships, the things that actually move the needle. Here's where AI will help you with that. I don't believe that AI should be used to diminish any of that or to take that away. I think AI should be used to automate and eliminate some of the mundane admin tasks that everyone has to do in a business, to free you up to have more time to spend on relationship building. I mean, think about it. Think of all of the tasks and all of the things and all the technology, even just email, that you guys have to do every single day that take you away from spending time with people, from building the relationships, from doing those things that actually move the needle. What if you could use AI to eliminate those things, or to, severely reduce the amount of time, so that now it's like I have 15 extra hours a week that I can do whatever I want with. Well, I can spend 10 of those by building relationships here, and I can spend 5 by being, with my family more, or whatever it is. So I look at AI as not replacing or not taking away the relationship. I look at AI as giving you the ability to have more time to be more human.
So how could I use it? You mentioned email. Like, what would I do with AI and email?
This is probably a little bit more advanced, but I'll tell you what I've done and what I've done for clients. You are able to run an automation. I don't know if you're familiar with Zapier. It's a tool online that can run automations. There's another one called Make, M-A-K-E. Make and Zapier essentially run automations between two different, say, softwares or tools. So, for an example, I could take ChatGPT and I could link it using Zapier to my Gmail account. So now Gmail and ChatGPT are connected. And then what I can tell Zapier to do is I could say, all right, anytime I get an email in my inbox folder or whatever folder you want, automatically reply with a message, but don't send it, put it in my drafts. So then instead of checking my email and replying to a bunch of emails and typing, I can, at the end of the day, once a day, twice a day, whenever I want, go into my drafts folder and say, this didn't need a reply, delete. I like this, but I'm going to tweak this and make it sound like this. Tweak, edit, send. This one's good to go, send, delete. And all I have to do is go through and decide which ones to send, which ones not, which ones I need to edit. And it severely cuts down the time of replying to emails. That's a little tip or a trick that, it's a little more involved, but it's not hard to do at all. You just use Zapier to connect the two.
And what about, I've never tried this, so I'm asking your opinion on this. So I get an email sent to me as an agent. I need to reply. I copy and paste that email in a ChatGPT and say, write me a response. What do you think of that idea?
100% great use case, easy to do. If you want to take it even a step further, there's a prompt that I share that's very simple, but it writes in your writing style instead of sounding ChatGPT like.
Okay.
Some people probably have noticed that there are certain words that ChatGPT really likes, like unlocked or unleash or a tapestry. There's certain words that ChatGPT uses where it's like, that's not me at all, right? You can totally tell it was written by AI. Essentially, the prompt is this. It's so simple. It's analyze the following text for style, voice, and tone. Apply the exact same style to all future writing in this chat. And then you paste in an email that you've written before, or you paste in a blog, or you paste in whatever, a text message. It doesn't matter. It will analyze how you write. And then in the response, it will then write exactly like you to reply to that email. So a great use case would be paste in an old email that you've written before. And then after you do that, you say, all right, now reply to this email, and it will reply in your exact writing.
Excellent. And what are some, just kind of back to the agent that's really brand new to AI and ChatGPT, maybe they're like, okay, I'm embracing this. I'm willing to, give it a try to learn. Like, what are some just common, simple ways they could use it, whether it's their listing presentation or finding leads or writing the contract, or, what are some ones that they could do?
Yeah, some really simple use cases. I always share with people that there's 7 general use cases that I share these because it gets people's brain working, where they say, okay, yeah, I could use it for that. Now, this is not an exhaustive list, obviously, but this is just foundational 7 use cases, and I'll jot them off to you. Number 1 is simple questions. So any type of question, anything you would Google, anything that you have a question about, you can ask to get information from ChatGPT, just like it's a search engine. Number 2 would be generate lists. So this can actually generate lists of ideas, lists of hobbies, lists of questions, lists of business ideas. You literally put in the number you want, like, hey, give me a list of 100, or give me a list of 10, or give me a list of 27, and it will give you that number. So one that I use for my clients all the time with this is content ideas. And we have a prompt that we give away. We have a free PDF with 10 prompts that'll change your business. One of them is creating a list of 90 content ideas that your target audience may want to know. So first we train the chat GPT on your business, so it knows your market, it knows your target audience, it knows everything. But then after we train it, we say, okay, now give us a list of 90 content ideas that we could use that our target audience may want to know. And it's going to do it for your market, for your price point, for your target audience. And it gives you an idea for content ideas. You're like, oh yeah, I could totally shoot a video about that. One of the hardest things about content is figuring out what to actually record or what to post about. That's a great one. And that's all, due to generating lists, which it totally can do. Number 3 is long form written pieces. So this could be email newsletters. This could be blogs, articles, even books. I have written full length 300 plus page books for authors. Can't even tell that it was written by AI. That takes a little bit of work, and you have to learn how to tweak it and make it not sound like AI. But we've done that for several different authors. You can write a full length book with the thing. You just have to know how to do it correctly. Number 4 would be feedback prompts. So you can ask it to give you feedback on things that you've done. So you could paste in an email that you wrote and say, what do you think? Can you make this more conversational? Can you make this funnier? Can you make this more professional, more respectful? You can paste in anything and say, give me feedback on this. What do you think? And it will give you its honest feedback. One thing for real estate agents specifically, I used Follow Up Boss for our team when we had the team of 30 agents, and it recorded the calls, obviously. I would load in the audio recording of the call, drag it into ChatGPT, which you can also do just by copying and pasting the transcript. But I would load in that file and I would say, all right, what could Cameron, the agent, have done better on this call, on this prospecting call, to better have secured the listing appointment or whatever? And it will go through the call, analyze the call, and say, well, at 2 minutes and 37 seconds, he said this. He could try this next time. And so you can actually use it as kind of a coach to get feedback on what you've done. So that would be feedback prompts. Number 5 would be modification prompts. This would be translating to another language, lengthening something, shortening something, rephrasing or rewording something. You can paraphrase, outline, rearrange. You can modify any type of text that you want. Turn this into Chinese, and it'll turn it into Chinese. So modification is pretty big as well. 2 more. Number 6 would be instructional prompts. These are how-tos, guidelines, instructions, anything from as simple as, I have an Epson 35i inkjet printer, and I need to know how to change the toner. What do I do? Well, it's been loaded with so much data and even training manuals or, different manuals for things. It will tell you how to do it. It also has access to the internet, so it'll search to figure out how to, and it'll give you step-by-step instructions for literally anything you can think of. And then the last one is information extraction. So this would be extracting data from text. So you could say, hey, give me an outline of the book, and you could pick any book. Give me the bullet point list of what I need to know chapter by chapter. It's, again, been loaded and trained with articles and books and all this data. You can literally load in a PDF and then say, tell me what I need to know about this PDF in bullet points or in an outline or in 500 words. You can specify. And so being able to upload files is really an important thing as well, because you can upload any type of PDF, document, whatever, and it will read that whole thing, and you can ask questions about that document.
Excellent. Now, what if, and I think everybody listening should do a much deeper dive. We're just scratching the surface with a couple of ideas. And what are some next steps, whether it's a free next step for the agents listening or a paid next step? Share with them, like, what are some of the ways that you help agents start to learn these ideas at a deeper level?
Yeah, absolutely. So philstringer.com, I have on the homepage 10 ChatGPT prompts to increase revenue, efficiency, and productivity. So there's a free PDF where I give you my 10 favorite AI tools that are not called ChatGPT, things that will do video editing, things that will do graphic design, all of those different tools. And then at the bottom, there's another section, which is the prompts. And those are 10 prompts. The first prompt, you copy and paste, and that's how you train ChatGPT on your business. I've mentioned that several times, on this talk. Training ChatGPT on your business is the most important thing you can do, because if it knows exactly what you're trying to do, then it's really going to do a much better job at curating specific content. And so philstringer.com, You've got that little button there that says download my free 10 ChatGPT prompts. We give those to you for free. I would definitely start there on that PDF. And again, if you have an account with ChatGPT, start copying and pasting some of these prompts in there. There's some really good ones. Like there's one where we create a buyer persona based on a specific price point, a specific market, and then it lists out this buyer persona with demographics, psychographics, shopping behaviors. It even lists out pain points and issues that that client could face in buying a home in that area. And then you can create content after you run that. You can create content or even create ads around solving the problem of that buyer. You can also do it for sellers to get listings. So that PDF has a lot of really good free stuff that you can just copy and paste. You don't have to think about it, and you can play around with it, use it in ChatGPT, and it'll definitely help.
Awesome. You just triggered a thought for me I want to share with everybody. And I have been lately studying alter egos. And so I used ChatGPT. I said, look, this is the characteristics I want in my alter ego. Give me a list of 10 names. And so I settled in on this name, Griffin Stone. So I created this alter ego named Griffin Stone. And how that an agent could benefit from that idea is one of the things that I know about agents is probably most of them have a dollar number that will exceed their comfort zone on like a listing that they'd be willing to pursue. So if they're like, Eric, I'm good up to 3 million, but you go out above 3 million, that's not my thing. Right. So there's this $10 million listing opportunity, and it's unlikely they're going to swing the bat because they're like, I'm 3 million and under. So you go to ChatGPT and you type in, I'm a 3 million and under agent, and I want to have the confidence to go after a $10 million deal. And so, give me this alter ego that I can step into to go out and swing the bat of this $10 million deal. And it comes up with your version of Griffin Stone, whatever it would be. And that might give you the courage to go after that larger deal. And so nobody told me to go to ChatGPT and type in, alter ego. But because I started playing with it, and I'm, Phil's the expert. I'm not an expert. I'm just kind of playing around with it just in the beginning. But my brain started to come up with ways of using it. And I think that's what's really valuable. If you take what Phil's teaching you, it's not just what you learn from Phil. It's that your brain will start coming up with its own ways of using it, things that Phil never even told you. And so, I want that for all of you. I want you to tap into this tool because there's lots of agents that are tapping into the tool. And if you're competing against them, to Phil's point, it's really tough when they have all the resources of these tools and you don't just because you're like, I refuse to embrace it because I'm a people person. Because there's lots of people persons that are embracing this. And we want that for you. And that's why I want Phil to come back on to really open up that way of thinking for you. And please connect with Phil, go to his website, view his resources. If he has any paid trainings coming up, strongly consider that so you can get this knowledge. I mean, the investment in training is so minuscule compared to the ROI you can get by increasing the number of real estate transactions that you do. So Phil, thank you for being, such a great resource for EXP. I know you speak at a lot of the EXP conferences, and you're on the cutting edge of this stuff. And it was just great to have you back on the podcast.
Well, I appreciate being here. And actually, there's one other free resource I can give people that will probably really help. I'm actually more excited about this than anything we've done, I think, so far. I mentioned it actually on stage at EXPCon when we opened up EXPCon. I mentioned it because we had just released it that day. It's free right now. It's not always going to be free. We will have to go to a paid version of this. But the feedback I'm getting from this from agents is insane. Like I just got 3 text messages the other day, totally unsolicited. One of them was a brand new agent. And he said, dude, I just secured a $2.9 million listing. And there were 5 really good agents in our market that were also interviewed. And they picked me because of this tool. So this tool is really, really good. And we keep getting a lot of great feedback on, oh my gosh, I just won this listing. I didn't think I'd get it. And so this tool, it's buyerprediction.com. You go to buyerprediction.com, and there are 2 questions on there that you fill out. One is property address. Number 2 is the price point that you would list it at. You hit go, and it creates, based on historical data and AI algorithms, it creates a buyer persona of who is most likely to purchase that home. So now you have this whole buyer persona of who's most likely to purchase the home. You go on your listing appointment and you say, hey, look, other agents are just throwing marketing around everywhere. We have this proprietary AI tool that allows us to see who is most likely to purchase this home. So we're able to target our marketing. Every single listing appointment, and there have been hundreds, they've been blown away. We've gotten so much feedback from our agents. They're like, the sellers are saying, no one else is doing this. And they're ending up getting the listing as just another value to your listing presentation. Again, right now it's free. I actually have to pay for every report that's run, but I wanted to give it free so that a lot of people can try it, use it.
What's the
It'll
name
end
of the
up being
website?
probably a 29 buyerprediction.com.
Okay.
Buyer prediction, because you're predicting the buyer. So buyerprediction.com. In the future, it will be a paid thing, but it'll be a cheap, probably $29 a month type of service for unlimited uses. But right now, it's free. Totally go use it and use it on your listing appointments because it's helped a lot of our agents.
Awesome. I love that. And what we're doing there is we're taking the AI and we're playing to the strength of the agent, which is being with the people, right? So you're on your live presentation or Zoom listing, however you're doing it, but you're showcasing, you're like, hey, I'm on the cutting edge and I've got this information. And I do that in my core business is sales training. And so I'm very much like an agent. I'm a people person. I do the coaching and the speaking and much more of that than technology, but I bring the technology into my client relationships to like wow them, like, oh my gosh, Eric's on the cutting edge of this stuff. And so it's a way of using it that taps into my strengths. So I love that. And so, great
Yep.
information.
Play
today.
around with it. Yeah. Buyerprediction.com. I mean, literally, a couple days ago, I get 3 texts. The one guy who got the 2.9, one person said, I just got a 2.1, and another person who got a 1.8. And all of them were like, we're shocked at how well this thing works. So yeah, play around with it. It's a free thing.
Yeah, I love that. What a great way to end our show. Well, for all of you listening, I highly encourage you to listen to the recording of this podcast multiple times to put the best ideas that Phil shared into your subconscious. And as I always say, please share the podcast with your team, with your organization. This is cutting edge information. They need to hear this podcast. And if they're not a subscriber of the Brent Gove podcast, the only way they're going to know is if you share it. So please share it. And with that, that's going to wrap up another great edition of the Brent Gove podcast. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Okay, so here's the deal. We have incredible information, video content on my YouTube channel. Go over there and make sure you subscribe. And it's vital that you ring the bell. If you ring that bell every time I put out new content, it's actually going to notify you and you can get the latest and greatest of what's happening at EXP. Now, don't forget to like me on Facebook so you can also get that content, and then follow me on Instagram. We're hitting everybody high, low, and in between. We're trying to get the information out there so you can build big businesses, revenue share organizations. So go to YouTube right now. Please subscribe and ring that bell. Like me on Facebook and follow me on Instagram. We'll see you out there.